HESI A2 Muscular System Questions. Question 1. Which option identifies the muscle that flexes the neck and rotates the head to the opposite side? Option A, gastrocnemius. Option B, sternocleidomastoid. Option C, adductor longus. Option D, orbicularis oculi. The correct answer is option B, sternocleidomastoid. This muscle flexes the neck and rotates the head to the opposite side. It runs from the sternum and clavicle to the mastoid process. These linked features explain the role in turning the face. Question 2. Which option identifies the contraction type most important for pushing against an immovable object because it develops tension without changing muscle length? Option A, isometric contraction. Option B, concentric contraction. Option C, isotonic contraction. Option D, eccentric contraction. The correct answer is option A, isometric contraction. A key clue is that this contraction type stabilizes joints or holds posture. It also develops tension without changing muscle length. That combination is central to pushing against an immovable object. Question 3. A student is reviewing a concept involved in exposing binding sites for cross-bridge formation. Which option identifies the muscle structure or process with this function, binds calcium and shifts the regulatory protein on thin filaments? Option A, actin. Option B, troponin. Option C, skeletal muscle tissue. Option D, smooth muscle tissue. The correct answer is option B, troponin. The role tested here involves exposing binding sites for cross-bridge formation. This muscle structure or process binds calcium and shifts the regulatory protein on thin filaments. It can also be identified because it changes shape when cytosolic calcium rises. Stressed about your HESI A2? We can take HESI A2 for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. A student is reviewing a concept involved in generating force during contraction. Which option identifies the muscle structure or process with this function, forms the main component of thick filaments? Option A, muscle fiber. Option B, calcium ion. Option C, a motor unit. Option D, a myosin. The correct answer is option D, myosin. The role tested here involves generating force during contraction. This muscle structure or process forms the main component of thick filaments. It can also be identified because it has heads that bind actin and split ADP. Question 5. Which option identifies the muscle best matching this description? It covers the posterior neck and upper back, and it moves and stabilizes the scapula? Option A, trapezius. Option B, gluteus medius. Option C, rectus abdominis. Option D, temporalis. The correct answer is option A, trapezius. For shrugging the shoulders and rotating the shoulder blade, this muscle moves and stabilizes the scapula. It can also be recognized because it covers the posterior neck and upper back. The remaining choices have different primary functions or locations. Question 6. Which option identifies the muscle that dorsiflexes and inverts the foot? Option A, gastrocnemius. Option B, tibialis anterior. Option C, triceps brachii. Option D, temporalis. The correct answer is option B, tibialis anterior. This muscle dorsiflexes and inverts the foot. It lies along the anterior shin. These linked features explain the role in lifting the toes during walking. Question 7. Impairment of which muscle structure or process would most directly prevent the following function, moves substances through hollow organs? Option A, neuromuscular junction. Option B, cardiac muscle tissue. Option C, smooth muscle tissue. Option D, actin. The correct answer is option C, smooth muscle tissue. A key clue is that this muscle structure or process contains non-striated spindle-shaped cells under involuntary control. It also moves substances through hollow organs. That combination is central to regulating internal passageways. Question 8. Which option identifies the muscles most directly associated with running and bending the lower leg and this function, flex the knee and extend the hip? Option A, intercostal muscles. Option B, latissimus dorsi. Option C, rectus abdominis. Option D, hamstrings. The correct answer is option D, hamstrings. These muscles participate in running and bending the lower leg. They flex the knee and extend the hip, and they form the major muscle group on the posterior thigh. Those details distinguish the tested concept from related choices. Are you looking for Get actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access GED study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get GED answer key today. Question 9. Which option identifies the muscle most important for performing a sit-up because it flexes the trunk and compresses abdominal contents? Option A, iliopsoas. Option B, triceps brachii. Option C, rectus abdominis. Option D, intercostal muscles. The correct answer is option C, rectus abdominis. A key clue is that this muscle runs vertically on the anterior abdominal wall. It also flexes the trunk and compresses abdominal contents. That combination is central to performing a sit-up. Question 10. A physiology item gives 2 clues. It elevates and retracts the mandible, and it fans across the temporal region of the skull. Which option identifies the muscle? Option A, trapezius. Option B, deltoid. Option C, sartorius. Option D, temporalis. The correct answer is option D, temporalis. The role tested here involves closing and pulling back the jaw. This muscle elevates and retracts the mandible. It can also be identified because it fans across the temporal region of the skull. Question 11. Which option identifies the muscle that extends and laterally flexes the vertebral column? Option A, gastrocnemius. Option B, erector spinae. Option C, deltoid. Option D, orbicularis oris. The correct answer is option B, erector spinae. This muscle extends and laterally flexes the vertebral column. It runs longitudinally along the back. These linked features explain the role in maintaining upright posture. Question 12. Which option identifies the contraction type whose key function is shortens a muscle while it produces force? Option A, eccentric contraction. Option B, bisymmetric contraction. Option C, concentric contraction. Option D, isotonic contraction. The correct answer is option C, concentric contraction. This contraction type shortens a muscle while it produces force. It occurs when force exceeds the resistance. These linked features explain the role in lifting a weight. Question 13. A student is reviewing a concept involved in lowering a weight slowly. Which option identifies the contraction type with this function, lengthens a muscle while it remains active? Option A, eccentric contraction. Option B, bisymmetric contraction. Option C, concentric contraction. Option D, isotonic contraction. The correct answer is option A, eccentric contraction. The role tested here involves lowering a weight slowly. This contraction type lengthens a muscle while it remains active. It can also be identified because it helps control movement against gravity or resistance. Question 14. A physiology item gives 2 clues. They extends, adducts, and medially rotates the arm, and they spans much of the lower back and inserts on the humerus. Which option identifies the muscles? Option A, latissimus dorsi. Option B, brachialis. Option C, tibialis anterior. Option D, sartorius. The correct answer is option A, latissimus dorsi. The role tested here involves pulling the upper limb downward and backward. These muscles extends, adducts, and medially rotates the arm. They can also be identified because they spans much of the lower back and inserts on the humerus. Question 15. Impairment of which muscle would most directly prevent the following function, extends and laterally rotates the thigh? Option A, soleus. Option B, gluteus maximus. Option C, trapezius. Option D, orbicularis oculi. The correct answer is option B, gluteus maximus. A key clue is that this muscle forms much of the buttock. It also extends and laterally rotates the thigh. That combination is central to rising from a seated position or climbing. Question 16. A physiology item gives 2 clues. It forms the main component of thin filaments, and it contains binding sites for myosin heads. Which option identifies the muscle structure or process? Option A, sarcolemma. Option B, neuromuscular junction. Option C, T-tubule. Option D, actin. The correct answer is option D, actin. The role tested here involves supporting sliding minus filament contraction. This muscle structure or process forms the main component of thin filaments. It can also be identified because it contains binding sites for myosin heads. Question 17. Which option identifies the contractile event associated with allowing repeated contraction and relaxation in both clues? It causes a myosin head to detach from actin, and it is necessary for each cross-bridge cycle. Option A, ADP binding. Option B, preganglionic neuron. Option C, intrapleural pressure. Option D, osteocyte. The correct answer is option A, ADP binding. The function described is that this contractile event causes a myosin head to detach from actin. A second identifying feature is that it is necessary for each cross-bridge cycle. Together, the two clues explain the role in allowing repeated contraction and relaxation. Question 18. A student is reviewing a concept involved in straightening the lower leg. Which option identifies the muscle with this function, extends the knee? Option A, quadriceps femoris. Option B, gluteus maximus. Option C, latissimus dorsi. Option D, biceps brachii. The correct answer is option A, quadriceps femoris. The role tested here involves straightening the lower leg. This muscle extends the knee. It can also be identified because it forms the major muscle group on the anterior thigh. Stressed about your GED? We can take GED for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A review item describes a muscle that forms a superficial layer of the lateral abdominal wall. Which option identifies it? Option A, tibialis anterior. Option B, external oblique. Option C, rectus femoris. Option D, masseter. The correct answer is option B, external oblique. For twisting the torso, this muscle rotates and laterally flexes the trunk. It can also be recognized because it forms a superficial layer of the lateral abdominal wall. The remaining choices have different primary functions or locations. Question 20. Impairment of which muscles would most directly prevent the following function: flexes, abducts, and laterally rotates the thigh while flexing the knee? Option A, diaphragm. Option B, gastrocnemius. Option C, brachialis. Option D, sartorius. The correct answer is option D, sartorius. A key clue is that these muscles runs diagonally across the anterior thigh. They also flexes, abducts, and laterally rotates the thigh while flexing the knee. That combination is central to crossing one leg over the other. Question 21. Which option identifies the muscle most important for kicking a ball because it extends the knee and flexes the hip? Option A, sternocleidomastoid. Option B, triceps brachii. Option C, rectus femoris. Option D, diaphragm. The correct answer is option C, rectus femoris. A key clue is that this muscle is the only quadriceps component crossing both hip and knee. It also extends the knee and flexes the hip. That combination is central to kicking a ball. Question 22. Which option identifies the energy process associated with supporting endurance activity in both clues? It provides sustained ATP when oxygen delivery is adequate, and it produces far more ATP per fuel molecule than anaerobic pathways? Option A, aerobic respiration. Option B, absolute refractory period. Option C, glycogenesis. Option D, appositional growth. The correct answer is option A, aerobic respiration. The function described is that this energy process provides sustained ATP when oxygen delivery is adequate. A second identifying feature is that it produces far more ATP per fuel molecule than anaerobic pathways. Together, the two clues explain the role in supporting endurance activity. Question 23. A review item describes a muscle structure or process that moves away after calcium binds the associated regulatory complex. Which option identifies it? Option A, cardiac muscle tissue. Option B, calcium ion. Option C, tropomyosin. Option D, muscle fascicle. The correct answer is option C, tropomyosin. For controlling cross-bridge access, this muscle structure or process covers myosin- binding sites on actin at rest. It can also be recognized because it moves away after calcium binds the associated regulatory complex. The remaining choices have different primary functions or locations. Question 24. Which option identifies the muscle associated with bringing the lower limb toward the midline in both clues? It adducts the thigh, and it lies in the medial thigh. Option A, gluteus maximus. Option B, diaphragm. Option C, hamstrings. Option D, adductor longus. The correct answer is option D, adductor longus. The function described is that this muscle adducts the thigh. A second identifying feature is that it lies in the medial thigh. Together, the two clues explain the role in bringing the lower limb toward the midline. Question 25. Which option identifies the muscle structure or process best matching this description? It is an inward extension of the sarcolemma, and it carries an action potential deep into a muscle fiber. Option A, sarcoplasmic reticulum. Option B, skeletal muscle tissue. Option C, T-tubule. Option D, smooth muscle tissue. The correct answer is option C, T-tubule. For synchronizing calcium release, this muscle structure or process carries an action potential deep into a muscle fiber. It can also be recognized because it is an inward extension of the sarcolemma. The remaining choices have different primary functions or locations.